What's up, Bears fans? Training camp is right around the corner, and the buzz is already real. One name we keep hearing about, Shemar Turner. Yeah, the rookie defensive tackle that the Bears grabbed in the second round. This dude hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet, but he's already making noise, especially in the eyes of fellow defensive lineman Gervon Dexter. Now, if you've been paying attention, Dexter has been stepping into more of a leadership role this year. He's talked about learning from guys like Grady Jarrett, picking up that veteran mindset, understanding what it takes to lead on and off the field. So, when someone like that starts talking highly about a rookie, calling him athletic, talented, saying he's got all the tools, that's something to take seriously. And let's be real, the Bears haven't exactly been a powerhouse when it comes to developing young defensive talent over the last few years, but this year feels different. There's a vibe, a culture shift, something that feels like it's clicking in a way it hasn't in a while. The front office didn't just add bodies to the defensive line, they added potential. Shemar Turner is part of that vision. They want him and Dexter to grow together, maybe become that next great duo in the trenches. That's what makes what Dexter said so important. It's not just praise, it's intention. It's about building chemistry now, understanding each other's instincts, reads, and habits, so that when the moment comes, they move like a unit. That kind of connection can't be overstated. You see it with great defenses. They're not just talented individuals, they're synchronized. Now, Turner's numbers from college speak for themselves. At Texas A&M, over 4 seasons, the guy racked up more than 100 tackles, over 20 tackles for loss, double-digit sacks, and forced turnovers. That's production you can't ignore, but we know the NFL isn't college. The pace is faster, the linemen are stronger, and mistakes get exposed real quick. So development is key. Luckily for Turner, he's walking into a room stacked with veteran presence: Grady Jarrett and Drew Billings, guys who've been there, done that, and are still doing it. Even if Turner doesn't get a ton of snaps right out the gate, he's learning from dudes who know the game inside and out, and that's massive. Having someone like Dennis Allen running the defense, that's just icing on the cake. Allen is known for getting the most out of his guys, especially on that defensive front. And for Dexter, who's now in his second year and looking to cement himself as a starter, this setup benefits him too. Iron sharpens iron, right? And the Bears are finally in a position where young talent isn't being thrown to the wolves right away. They can grow together. They can learn without carrying the entire load from day one. That's how sustainable defenses are built. Now, of course, health is a huge factor. If Jarrett and Billings stay healthy, Turner's role will be more limited early on. But this is the NFL. Injuries happen, rotations shift, and depth becomes essential. So Turner's time is going to come. It's just a matter of when. Let's talk about why all of this matters. For the Bears, this isn't just about Turner. It's about culture. It's about setting a standard that young players aren't just bodies, they're investments. And it seems like, for once, the coaching staff and front office are aligned on that. That alone is a shift from recent years where it often felt like the draft picks were being wasted, misused, or forgotten. Not this time. There's a plan, and that's exciting. Now, Turner's not the only rookie making waves or generating a bit of concern. There's this little thing happening behind the scenes: contracts. As it stands, Turner still hasn't signed his rookie deal, and he's not alone. The Bears actually have 3 second-round picks this year: Turner, Luther Burden, and AZ Trapillo, and none of them have inked their contracts yet. With training camp about to start, that's raising some eyebrows. But before you panic, let's pump the brakes a bit. Around the league, a massive chunk of second-round picks are still unsigned. It's not just a Bears issue, it's a league-wide trend. So what's going on? Why the delay? From everything we're hearing, this probably comes down to guaranteed money and signing bonus structure, with nil deals becoming more common in college. Players are entering the league more aware of their value, and agents are pushing harder to get those guarantees locked in. That's probably what's holding things up. It's not that the Bears are dragging their feet, it's just part of a bigger negotiation wave across the league. Still, that doesn't mean it's not frustrating. You want your rookies locked in, signed, and ready to go, especially when 2 of them, Burden and Trapillo, are in real contention for starting roles. Burden is battling to be the starting slot receiver, trying to build chemistry with Caleb Williams. Trapillo is out here fighting for the left tackle spot. These aren't depth pieces. They're guys who could play major roles right away. So every rep they miss in training camp because of a contract delay, that's a setback. That's time they can't afford to lose, because once the season starts, the leash gets shorter. The margin for error disappears and jobs are on the line now. Will this turn into a full-blown holdout? I doubt it. Most second-rounders will probably get signed within the first few days of camp. But if we get to the second or third day and they're still unsigned, yeah, then the concern becomes real. For now, though, it feels more like a waiting game than anything disastrous. Still, this all feeds into a bigger theme we're seeing with this team. The Bears are banking on youth big time, on both sides of the ball. We've got rookies and second-year players expected to step up in a big way. And if they're going to do that, they need structure, they need support, and most of all, they need reps. Take someone like Zay Frazier, a defensive back with an intriguing mix of size and speed. A guy that probably flew under the radar during the draft, but now he's got a real shot to climb the depth chart. Especially in Dennis Allen's system, Allen loves his defensive backs. He rotates them, disguises coverage, mixes it up to keep offenses guessing. And that plays right into Frazier's strengths. Then you've got guys like Noah Sewell, another player that's been floating on the roster, waiting for his shot. And now, with some question marks at linebacker, he might finally get it. This is the moment where players either step up or fade into the background. Sewell's got to make a name for himself now, because if he doesn't, there may not be another opportunity down the road. And we can't forget about undrafted guys either. Tysheem Johnson, for example, this is a player who led Oregon in interceptions last year, who has shown he can perform in big games, and who fits perfectly in this defensive scheme. Sure, he might start out on the practice squad, but don't be surprised if he cracks the roster. The depth at safety isn't untouchable, and Johnson's got enough raw talent to force the coaching staff to make a tough decision. All of this brings us to the bigger picture. The Bears aren't just trying to build a defense, they're trying to build a foundation. A core of players who can grow together, develop under a creative system, and actually be part of something long-term. That's the key word here, development. For years, the Bears have had flashes, guys who looked great in spurts, but never sustained it. Or worse, they'd regress because the coaching wasn't there. But now, there's hope that things might be different. With Dennis Allen calling the shots on defense, there's a real belief that this group can be coached up the right way. Look at Daniel Hardy. Last year, he was a preseason standout who ended up playing mainly on special teams, but he made an impact there too, led the team in special teams tackles and even blocked a punt in week 1. That's the kind of energy you want. And now, with some depth questions at the edge position, Hardy's got a chance to become more than just a special teams guy. He's already turned heads. Now it's time to solidify a spot in the rotation. Same goes for Austin Booker, drafted as a project, a little raw, a little undersized, but with huge upside. The kind of guy you take in the later rounds and just hope you can mold into something special. And guess what? He's been grinding. He's added size. He's been working. With Dexter and Jarrett, he's doing all the right things to put himself in position to succeed. If the Bears choose not to bring in another veteran edge rusher, that says a lot about how they feel about Booker and Hardy. It says they believe in what they have. That's the shift we're talking about. That's the kind of internal growth that hasn't happened enough in recent years, but now it looks like that tide might be turning. The real question is whether it'll stick. And speaking of development, Jaquan Brisker is another guy who's been making noise. He's talking like a leader, acting like a leader, and embracing the responsibility of being one of the voices in that locker room. He's talked openly about being a Swiss Army knife under Dennis Allen's scheme, someone who can play in the box, cover deep, blitz, do it all. And you know what? He's shown flashes of all that already. The only thing that's held him back, injuries. That's the big question with Brisker. Can he stay healthy? Because if he can, he's going to be a huge piece of this defense. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors have been swirling around Hollis Hall this week, and they're too loud to ignore. Could the Windy City be preparing for a defensive revolution? According to whispers emerging from league insiders, the Chicago Bears may be plotting a stunning move that would send shockwaves across the NFL, acquiring Cleveland Browns superstar edge rusher Myles Garrett. Nothing has been confirmed, but speculation has picked up momentum as multiple sources report unusual activity surrounding the Bears' front office. While Chicago has remained tight-lipped, the sudden silence from Cleveland's camp has only fueled the fire. Is a blockbuster trade brewing? Garrett, A perennial Pro Bowler and one of the league's most feared pass rushers would bring a level of dominance to the Bears' defense not seen since the days of Khalil Mack's peak. With his explosive speed off the edge, brute strength, and relentless motor, he could instantly transform a young and promising defensive unit into one of the league's elite. What makes this rumor even more tantalizing is the Bears' recent moves to clear cap space and their stockpile of draft picks, a combination that would make a bold acquisition financially and logistically feasible. Could GM Ryan Poles be cooking up something massive to elevate the team in a competitive NFC North? Of course, the Browns would have to be willing to part with their franchise cornerstone, a notion that seems far-fetched but not impossible. Internal tensions, cap concerns, or even a shift in team philosophy could be enough to open the door. Stranger things have happened in the NFL. As fans dream of Garrett lining up in navy and orange, analysts caution that, for now, it remains just a whisper, a thrilling one, but a whisper nonetheless. Still, in a league where smoke often leads to fire, Bears fans will be watching every development closely, wondering if the next great defensive monster of the Midway is just a phone call away. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.